It was August of 2021 and I was looking on YouTube and I found a video like this. I saw someone talking about their sixth form experience and I was overwhelmed. I looked at my GCSE textbook and I was like, wow, sixth form really must be really hard. A-levels must be really, really hard compared to GCSEs. Of course, I was procrastinating doing some GCSE homework whilst watching the video, but effectively this video is going to be a more ranty, like unstructured video. I'm just talking about my experience in sixth forms and doing sixth forms and how the first week of sixth form really is really like. So let's just get straight into the video. So one question that people ask is what subjects I'm taking. Effectively, I'm taking maths, A level. I think I'm doing the OCR specification exam, or I don't know. Further maths, OCR as well, physics AQA, and computer science. If you want to know my GCSEs, I failed every single. No, I didn't fail every single subject. I got good results. You can go see my GCSE results video, but effectively I'm doing pretty hard subjects. Let's be honest. Like maths is a renowned hard subject, but it's like a common subject. Further maths is probably the hardest A level. The second hardest A level is probably physics, and the third hardest A level is probably computer science. So I'm doing pretty hard subjects for A level. So a lot of people like have been asking me how are the first week of sixth form basically, and I go to something called a grammar school. So a grammar school is basically like it's a selective sixth form wherein only like a few people can go to the sixth form if you achieve a certain GCSE grade. So I go to that and do the hardest possible subjects. So I'm going to answer this in like a big FAQs section. So let's get straight onto that and I'll see you there. So the first question is it really hard? Is like sixth form really hard? And from personal experience, I go to like a very like hard school, a very strict school. Like we have like proper uniforms and everything. I genuinely don't think it's as hard as some people make it out to be. Like, of course, I'm still in the first week of sixth form, and I have a test next week, and I have gotten like a fair few bits of homework. But genuinely, I think that they do cover the GCSE content quite fast. But what image I had of sixth form was something that was going to be very, very daunting at first, and they're going to go through A levels rapidly. But effectively, if you just listen in class, use the focus guide I uploaded, I'll link it here somewhere, and just focus in class and just try to absorb the content you're getting. You should be fine. Like they progress through GCSEs to the progression through GCSEs to A level isn't that big of a jump at first. I think the jump from year 12 content to year 13 content is very big. And that like year 13 is probably the hardest year you're ever gonna have in school because you have like university entrance test, you have like predicted grades, you have your actual A levels to revise for. So I think that's the hardest year. But year 12, I think just follows a natural progression. Of course, there is a big step up from GCSE, but I don't think that it's not as big as people make it out to be. So is it really hard? Kind of, yes. I think, yeah, it is slightly hard, but not as big as people make it out to be. Like if you focus in class and do the homework and like kind of understand the content, you'll be fine, at least for year 12. The next question that people always ask is how is the workload in year 12? So as someone who's doing 4 subjects, I plan not to drop any. If I do, I'm going to update YouTube. But effectively, how's the workload in sixth form? And honestly, like, it's not that bad. I have noticed something very big compared to GCSE is that they do go through GCSE, like not GCSE content, but like they do go through the first few chapters very, very fast. And I don't know if they'll keep this up throughout, but they do rapidly go through content. And as long as you're focusing in class and making notes, and like the thing is, I like to go home and like review my notes. So like I just go home and like look over my notes. As long as you're doing that, you shouldn't like it shouldn't be too bad. Like the workload is around the later stages of year. So if you're in year 11 now, the later stages of year 11, the amount of homework you get then is how much you're going to get in the beginning of year 12. Yeah, so the workload isn't too bad. Another question people have is about frees. So how is free periods work? In my school personally, I have around 1, maybe 2 free periods a day. There's like one day that I don't have free period. And that's probably not the same in all schools. It's only because I do go to a grammar school that I don't have as many frees as other people do. But like if you go to a normal sixth form, then you're probably going to have like a lot more frees. And for me personally, people always say, oh, use your frees and everything. It's very hard to, like, I find it very hard to focus in setting of my friends, and it's just really hard to study and get meaningful work done in your frees. So what I would advise to you is use your frees to the max of your capacity, but don't deep them too much. Like, you should do the majority of your actual meaningful like practice questions, or like not practice questions, learning content at home. Like, if you have any like gaps in your knowledge, you should either talk to the teacher on the day, or on the day you should review the content and like find gaps in your knowledge. Because I feel like if you don't find out at least on the day or on the week, this content will like add up. And I don't think it's the same as GCSE where you can just cram everything like 2 months beforehand. You do have to put in consistent effort. So effectively use your frees to the best of your ability. But like if you find yourself once or twice like socializing with your friends, then it's really not that deep, because you can just go home and do it anyways. What's the difference between GCSE and A-levels? There is only like maybe 3 main differences in either the content or how they are structured. And effectively A-levels, if I had to describe it with one word, I would describe it as consistency. You have to have consistency in how you structure your revision. It's not like GCSE where if you don't understand the topic, you can leave it to like 2 months before, like 1 week before the exam, where you can cram everything. It's not the same as A-level, because A-level is just GCSE, but it's a lot more deeper, if I had to describe it. So it's not only like much more broader in content, it's like it goes into a lot of depth, and there is a lot of exam technique involved. And if you don't practice that exam technique, you will not get the grade. So the 3 main differences between GCSE and A-level is A, you will have to put in consistent effort. Even if this is like 1 hour a day, you'll beat the person who's going to cram like, if you put in like 1 to 2 hours a day every single day, you will beat the person who puts in 4 hours a day 1 month before the exam. Like that's how consistency works. If you want to read a book on how like the compound effect and consistency work, read the book The Compound Effect. I really recommend it to you. I've just started reading it right now, and it's really good. Like, it explains how things do build up to unimaginable results. The second main difference is the breadth of content. There is a lot more things you need to learn. And the third main difference is the detail it's in. There's not only a lot more things you need to learn, it goes in a lot more detail, and you have to be very specific in your wording. The way I would go around this, or the way I'm trying to go around this, is through an app called Anki. Anki is basically like this online flashcard making software. I used to use it at GCSE, but I do think at A-level is one step up, and you do really need to use it efficiently. I think the main mistake I made at GCSE, for flashcards, is I heavily only relied on flashcards as like my only source of revision. But this is something you shouldn't do. You should use flashcards as a tool for your revision, and use past papers as the main source of revision. So effectively, if I put this into gym analogy, because I'm into the gym, practice questions are like going to the gym and like lifting up the weights, but flashcards should be like your diet. So like practice questions is something that will actually build on your mistakes and help you grow in the subjects. But Anki and like flashcards is something that is very, very important as a complementary, but your practice questions that you do for a subject and understanding that you do for a subject is something that you need to have the most of, basically. 4 versus 3 A-levels. I do 4 A-levels. I know that 4 A-levels may seem like a lot, but I genuinely believe that your viewing of A-levels and your viewing of stress is very, very heavily dependent on the people you surround yourself with. So for example, in my class, in my like computer science class or my math class, I have people who are literally taking 5 A-levels. And to me, that sounds insane. 5 A-levels is crazy. But maybe if you take 3 A-levels, or you're thinking of taking 3 A-levels, 4 A-levels to you may seem crazy. So this brings me on to my next section, which is making friends, and especially making the right type of friends. Effectively, at A-level, for the highest return on investment, you need to make the type of friends that will surround you and push you to do better, basically. So effectively, if you surround yourself with like-minded people who have the same goals as you, it's gonna push you for more. For example, I went to a normal secondary state school in the UK before I went to this grammar school. So I'm like a new student in the grammar school, and I had a group of friends that really pushed each other to achieve good GCSE results, and we did eventually end up getting good GCSE results. I didn't fail every subject, but Effectively, at sixth form, it becomes even more important to surround yourself with like-minded people. If you have 5 friends who are all aiming to get into Oxford or like a very good university, that's going to help you to push you that extra bit. Now, many people ask, if you're going to a new sixth form, is it hard to make friends? No, it's genuinely not. Even if like you go to like a grammar school and they have like predefined friendship groups, basically, it's really not hard, because that's how life works. You can easily make friends by talking to someone random about something random, and hopefully that will build not something random, talking about something you're interested in, and hopefully you attract more like-minded friends that will push you in the right direction. Sixth form organization. A lot of people ask how important is organization in A level, and the answer is it's very, very important, because it's just a step up from GCSE. So I'm going to make a full video on my A level workflow in the future, but effectively you just need to have a very good, very, very systematic approach to revision, rather than just like revising random facts and stuff. You need to have a very, very systematic way you review past papers, you review content, and this will basically take away exam stress. They will completely take away exam stress. If you quantify the exam technique that you use, this will heavily make you rely on the systems you use, basically. So for example, if you have a system of, let's say on Tuesdays, I know that I am going to be reviewing this chapter, and on Wednesdays, I'm going to be doing this practice question and marking from it and taking the mistakes from it and practicing on Thursday, compared to someone who's saying, okay, I'm going to maybe work for 4 hours a day for every day of the week. The person B, or the second person, is likely to be way more stressed when it comes to exams, because he's just been doing random bits of revision and he hasn't concentrated on his weak points. So effectively, organization is very important at sixth form. The way I organize myself is kind of different. So I have an iPad, and effectively, if you have some sort of digital device, it's much more helpful, in my opinion, to use the digital device to organize yourself, especially at A levels, than, let's say, a folder. I'm not going to tell you to go buy a very expensive laptop or an iPad, but having all of your notes in one area is much, much more helpful than having like a big chunky ass folder. But if you have the thing is, you can use a folder very efficiently if you do have a very strict organization process. Again, I'm going to make a full video on my A-level workflow and how I aim to organize everything. But if you do have a very systematic way you organize your notes, anything will work, either digital or paper-based. So that's the organization section. The summary of this, like my honest opinion on sixth form, is it's pretty sick. Like, I have very little bad things to say about sixth form. I genuinely think that sixth form is that jump up from GCSE. But if you are not some weirdo that wastes all their time and you actually do the work and you focus in class, sixth form is going to be like such an enjoyable experience for you. It will just feel nice doing the content and like learning and failing, and you're like, oh, this is how you do this and this is how you do that, and that's how I'm expecting my sixth form experience to go. Of course, I could look back at this video in 2 years' time and say, oh no, I'm wrong, and everything I said was bullshit. But I think that sixth form is an enjoyable experience as long as you put your all into it, effectively. So that's the end of this video. Hopefully you like this video. This video is very unstructured compared to my other videos, and if you want to see structured videos or unstructured videos on self-development, and now it's studying and productivity and fitness, consider subscribing to a 16-year-old trying to make it. Thank you for watching this video. Give it a sub, give it a like. I'll see you in the next one.